南过年我们都吃杀猪饭，入乡随俗。
如乡随俗，对。平常不说普通话的，对吗？很少啊。谢谢为了我。对。Cherry。Cherry。对。新年快乐。Loving it. Oh my god. G'day everyone, Jake here or Hansen San. Welcome back to the channel. In 2023, I quit my corporate job in Australia and came to China to fulfill a lifelong goal to acquire a new language and learn more about this mysterious and wonderful country. It's currently winter school holidays and I'm halfway through my 6-week trip around Yunnan province. When I started this journey, I originally had a lot of big cities on my itinerary, but the Chinese New Year crowds and cold winter weather quickly convinced me to change my plans and venture solo into rural China instead. It was initially a pretty intimidating experience, but so far, the rewards seem to have outweighed the risks. Out here, the tourists are few, the scenery is beautiful, the climate warm, and the people hospitable. I've spent the last few days in a place called Shan, and I've enjoyed it so much that I've resolved to seek out a similar village for the next part of my journey. As luck would have it, the girls I met in Xishuangbanna have a friend whose family runs a cafe in a small town called Nayun Town. She gave me her WeChat, and after a few messages back and forth, she kindly offered for me to spend Chinese New Year with her and her family. Travel to a place I've never heard of and spend the holiday with a local family I've never met? Sounds right up my alley. But here's where things get interesting. From my experience in Shan, it's clear that standard Mandarin isn't as common out here, and most of the time they speak their local dialects. This is where I get lost. How well will I be able to communicate if we don't speak the same language? And then there's the food. How brave am I feeling? And will I try whatever they serve up for New Year's dinner? Finally, there's the more pressing issue of rural transportation. Will I even make it to the village with the limited options available? There's only one way to find out. So with a mix of excitement and nerves, I packed my bags and began waiting by the side of the road to catch a bus and begin my journey westward. My reservations weren't exactly unfounded. I ended up waiting for about an hour before seeing one and going to flag it down. But it turns out, even after an hour of waiting, it was still not the bus I was looking for.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
It was a chartered tour bus for a Dai musical group who were travelling around China, and they were in Shan the night before performing a show. Luckily, they were going in the same direction and offered to take me halfway to my destination. They played local music as we passed through the sea of clouds on our way down the mountain. I wasn't familiar with any of the songs they were playing, but I enjoyed it all the same. Apart from a quick stop to satisfy the requirements of the Traffis police, the journey went smoothly, and after an hour or so, they dropped me off in a town called Lantang. That bus right there was not a real bus, but he was super kind enough to take me to Lantang, which was like an hour away, and just for free. Apparently my luck wasn't through just yet either. The first guy on the street I asked about how to complete the rest of my journey just so happened to be a rideshare heading in that direction. He wasn't going to do it for free though, so after a bit of haggling, we were on our way. Nayun Town is a vibrant town nestled in the scenic landscapes of Menglian County, about 60 k's away from the border between China and Myanmar. With a population of around 50,000 or so, and over half that population identifying as some sort of ethnic minority, this is a town rich in cultural heritage. This region has also become well known recently for its coffee beans. The elevation is around 1600 metres, with a large temperature difference between day and night, making it ideal for coffee cultivation. Being a coffee lover myself, I was getting pretty excited to try some. After arriving and checking into my hotel, I took a short walk to my new friend's coffee shop. As I strolled along, excitement gradually mixed with nerves. I wasn't sure whether we would click or how they might perceive this random Laowai entering their lives, let alone filming our interactions. Ultimately, I opted not to film our initial meeting. I felt the situation was awkward enough without adding a camera into the mix. But it wasn't long until we were all acquainted and I was welcomed with the familiar warmth and hospitality that, in my experience, has become the hallmark of this region. I think I might have found my favourite way to have coffee. Avocado coffee. It's a bunch of avocado mix and then an espresso shot on top. Oh yeah. After a couple of hours, they invited me to join them at a friend's restaurant where a traditional Chinese New Year dinner was underway. Needless to say, I was very curious what was on the menu. We piled into the car and ventured up into the mountains.哦，
那我们云南过年我们都吃杀猪饭，
杀猪，
入乡随俗，
如乡随俗，对。
它有豆腐，有猪肉，然后把它灌起来变成香肠。
豆腐、猪肉，
对，豆腐、猪肉，还有一些香料。
香料。然后把它放在里面，
放在那个，
然后
晾晒之后就变成我们家里面的一道家常菜。
Wow, every single dish on this table has pig in it. 烤猪肉，
对，烤猪肉。
spicy stuff.
对
Green beans.
Yes.
猪血，
对
猪血。
Yes.
这个
冬瓜排骨，
冬瓜，这个也是
荷兰豆炒肉，
也是
红烧肉土豆。
So, this practice of consuming freshly killed pork on the day before Chinese New Year is a long-standing tradition in many parts of China, symbolizing abundance, prosperity, and the coming together of family and friends to usher in the new year. I actually got a chance to walk through the kitchen where they had prepared the pig an hour earlier, which was a little confronting, but this is where meat comes from, people. I actually think this is more respectful in a sense, and can help instill a deeper appreciation for the meal. I loved the simplicity of this restaurant. It was basically just some small tables and chairs in a car park. No frills, just good food and good company. Wow. 新年快乐! It is Chinese New Year Day, and this is what I'm looking at. Quiet little town. So this town apparently has a population of around 50 to 60,000 residents, right? As a percentage of China's 1.4 billion strong population, that's just 0.004%. For a bit of perspective, if I apply the same percentage to Australia's population of 26 million, this town would translate to a mere 1,100 people back home. I was super curious what kind of things would be happening in a town of this size on New Year's Eve. So with some time to spare before meeting my host family later that afternoon, I set out to explore a bit. I'm currently here on City Garden Road. Love myself a good garden. Oh, we've got some bamboo here. Oh, this looks interesting. Let's go down here. Oh wait, this isn't bamboo, is it? 这是竹吗？啊，不是，这是吃的。吃的。啊，吃的。甜吗？甜啊。sugar cane 啊，水果干啊。是不同的味道吗？
都差不多样，你可以
都差不多样，可以直接吃吗？
这个嚼了吃，吃好了要吐出来，这是有渣的。
Alright, I've stumbled upon some kind of market. Looks like the work doesn't stop even on New Year's Day. So this is the local sugarcane product. Very crunchy. I don't think I've ever been stared at more in my whole life. If you want to be stared at, come to a town with 40,000 people where you are pretty much the only foreigner. We've got a party going on here. I want to go in here. Let's check it out. Oh, my favourite. Yumi. Lots and lots of fresh corn, fresh peppers, lettuce, different herbs. Everything you could possibly want for your New Year's feast. Okay, I just asked a lovely lady back there, what would you bring if you were invited to a family feast tonight for New Year's? She said definitely bring fruit, and specifically bring cherries or apples. Okay, that's the first time I've heard that, but I'm gonna go on a search for some cherries and apples. 车厘子，谢谢。All right, got my cherries. Yeah, I needed to get them something because they treated me to coffee all day yesterday and lunch and dinner, and then tonight they're going to treat me to dinner as well. So, after the market, I walked back down to my host family's coffee shop, where I planned to meet up with my friends from the previous day, and then head up to their coffee farm in the mountains. But on the way there, I received a text that those plans had unexpectedly changed. Unfortunately, their farm was 2 hours away, and once I arrived there, there'd be no place for me to stay, and no taxis running since it was New Year's Eve after all. So instead, I would stay in town and join their extended family for dinner instead. This seems to happen a lot while traveling solo, and I've learned to just go with the flow. 你好，
我怎么叫你啊？
深山。
深山啊，哦，深山，对对对。
在我帽子上。如果你忘了。
忘了，等一下
非常感谢你邀请我。
没有，碰到了就吃。
你平常不说普通话对吗？很少啊，谢谢为了我。对，我常常发现我去的地方没有那么多人说普通话。你们真的很幸运，就在这里，我觉得。
这个是我老公的家，我的家的话就在咖啡厂。
咖啡厂。
那个是傣族寨。
傣族寨。
我们是佤族寨。昨天你去的那个是拉祜族寨。
真的。我没想到。
哦，你穿的是傣族的衣服啊，我们都没发现。
对，
对啊，这个啊，
是好
你
好看
什么时候
吗？
买的？
西装版啊。
哦，
可以吗？
可以啊，我还没发现呢。
Ironically, I was the only one at this dinner party wearing any sort of traditional clothing. And when I thought about it, it kind of made sense. If I was having a New Year's dinner with just my family, would I get dressed up in a fancy outfit? Probably not. I pretty quickly got the feeling that even if I wasn't there, this is exactly how they would be celebrating, which made this experience all the more special. I'm not gonna lie though, communication was tough. Everyone mainly spoke their own local dialect, but I couldn't really hold it against them. I understand how hard it can be to express yourself speaking a language that you're not familiar with, but it did provide us all an opportunity to learn some new words.
你们叫什么？水管。
水管 Water tap.
Water tap.
Water tap. 这是 wash 洗水果。
这是锅子我洗。
wash 对我洗。
这个叫什么？你们那边
pork 对。
这叫什么？一桃花子。
cherry
鲜鱼。
cherry
鲜味。
对 beef 对
beef。
So this is the Monglan Hua, which I do not understand. That's alright. I'm trying to learn. Billi Billi
按皮就是篮子，按连就是盐。
明白。所以在一起。
在一起，连搂的就是按边连。
Billi 明白。
火也是香香的，
香香的。
香香的。
Why? So I spent the afternoon stumbling over my words, digging into our delicious feast, and getting to know this lovely family. As midnight approached, I reflected on the unique opportunity I've had here. I travel solo to these places mainly because I love to connect with new people. But sitting at the table, watching these kind people banter back and forth with each other in their own dialect, I realised language is only part of the equation. A smile, a laugh, a kind gesture can often convey more meaning than language alone. These parts of China have genuinely surprised me. To be Chinese may mean something a little different to each of the 56 ethnic groups that live in this country. But they have at least one thing in common. They are all outrageously hospitable. It's a strange thing, solo travel. Although it can seem a bit lonely at times, it doesn't take long to realise that you're never really alone. It forces you to seek out and connect with people you may not have done if you were travelling with someone else. I feel grateful and privileged to be able to do things like this. To share such a personal holiday with new friends whose culture is so far removed from my own. And to see that despite our differences, we're all just human beings. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. Thank you to the family who so graciously accepted me into their home. And thanks to you for sticking with me until the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed editing it. Until next time.